Tonight, WJBF Sports, the leader in local high school football coverage, and the Augusta Sports Council honor the area's best and brightest stars of the gridiron. Tonight, there can be only one. We reveal the Football Friday Night All-CSRA team of 2020 and the Defensive Player of the Year, the Offensive Player of the Year, the Coach of the Year, and finally the FFN and the Greater Augusta Sports Council Player of the Year. Now, live, here are your hosts, Brendan Robertson and Colin Cody.
Good evening, and thanks for joining us tonight for the WJBF Augusta Sports Council All-CSRA Awards Show.
And Brendan, we're here for a very special reason to honor the very best high school football players in the CSRA.
All of our award winners tonight will come away with a customized piece of hardware from our friends at Jostens.
I think high school athletics is such a great mechanism, such a great tool for young men, young women to teach them about life. And so I personally love supporting high school athletics here in the CSRA. I mean, this is where I live. This is where my business is, and this is home. And so I always want to give back to my community in that way as well. Celebrating moments that matter, and Jostens has been doing that for 125 years. 2020 has presented us with many challenges, as we all know and as we've all faced. And so as my hope for these young men as they look at that ring in years to come, think about the journey and the experience along the way. This is a ring tree that's created. It's one of the steps in the process after the art is created, the elements that go into the ring. Every ring that's a part of this particular tree here, is all, say for instance, a 10-karat gold medal, okay? So. Or if we happen to have done a ring in a silver medal, then all the rings would be the same. It's all one solid piece. And there's something about being able to, proudly display that. But then, as time goes on and they all go their separate ways, it is kind of a unique bond that will bond that group together, for years and decades to come. And then it becomes, again, a story that they can tell and pass on from generation to generation.
A big thank you to our friends at Jostens, but stick around, we're just getting started here on the All-CSRA Awards Show. When we come back, we'll take a look at the All-CSRA Defensive Team plus the Ray Guy Award. Welcome back to the WJBF Sports Augusta Sports Council All-CSRA Awards Show. Now let's take a look at the players who made the All-CSRA defensive team.
Bo Schugertz, defensive lineman, Greenbrier High School.
Bo Schugertz is back for the second year in a row, named to the All-CSRA team.
It feels pretty good. I mean, I'm happy that it's just not me this time, though. I'm happy that, we got 2 other stars from our team.
It's a wolf pack that hunts on 2 legs instead of 4, which is good, so you can see their shiny new rings.
All 3 of these guys have left a great legacy here at Greenbrier High School.
6'3", 250 pounds, he did it all. Named the 5A Region 8 2-way Player of the Year.
Well, it's probably going to take 4 guys to replace him. Literally, I mean, he, started on the offensive line and defensive line, and wherever we put him, he caused some havoc.
In fact, he'll play wherever you need him to.
I don't care if I'm playing offensive line, defensive line, linebacker, fullback. If they want to put me at quarterback, if that's what's going to help us win, throw me there. If you need me to be the water boy, I don't care. I'm just trying to go win. I'm trying to go rep the Wolfpack, really, at the end of the day.
130 tackles, 30 tackles for loss, 10 sacks, and a part of 5 turnovers.
Teams definitely had the game plan for him, and he always made his presence known when he was on the field.
He won a state championship in wrestling in the heavyweight division, and now he's ready to lift off after signing with the Air Force Academy.
It's going to shape me into even a harder worker. The main thing is like, the experiences you get, one, playing D1 FBS football, two, being at the academy and the things that they can teach you that nobody else can teach you, not even other service academies, is what I'm excited for, because nobody understands what it's gonna be like until you're there and you actually experience it yourself.
Elijah Davis, defensive lineman, Wagner Sally High School.
Meet Wagner Sally's Elijah Davis, and on any given Friday night, he could be your biggest nightmare. What's your favorite part about playing football?
Hitting somebody.
At 6'3.5" and 250 pounds, then you add both speed and power, Elijah Davis was rated as the 9th best defensive end in the Palmetto State. But he did so many other things for Wagner Sally too. One of them being the driving force on offense at tight end.
Just about every game, he's the best player on the field. I mean, he is just a dominant presence, completely unblockable at our level, and just mashing people on offense. I mean, he's just a great football player.
And when given the chance at tight end, Elijah Davis turned into Vernon Davis, or maybe not. Either way, he was impossible to bring down.
Scored like a 80, 85, 82 yard touchdown. Seen right down the middle, caught it. Guy ran up behind me, I stiff on him. Then got back to the 5 and another guy stiff on him to the end zone. Elijah did many things for the War Eagles this year. He took on a role he never thought he'd get a chance to play.
He's going to play defensive end at the next level. But this year we asked him to play middle linebacker because everybody was running away from him.
It was exciting to me because that was a position I always wanted to play in. I got the opportunity and I did my best at it.
Yeah, 75 tackles, 15 of those in the backfield with 6 sacks. Sounds pretty good. Over the last 4 years, he's made too many jaw-dropping plays, but they usually get the same response.
And I just turned around and I said, you gotta be kidding me. Like, that's not supposed to happen.
Elijah's ready to become the next defensive force at East Mississippi Community College.
I'm just looking forward to being that guy coming in because I know a lot of people say that I can't do a lot of stuff that's defense line-wise. I want to go to the next level and show them that I actually can.
Reese DeLoach, defensive lineman, Academy of Richmond County.
Reese DeLoach anchored the ARC defense for the best season in school history in more than 40 years, which says a lot for a program that began in 1902.
It feels great knowing that me and my teammates did something that, 50 years from now, people are going to be like, look at what these guys did.
We thought we could be pretty good, and then it really caught fire. The players started believing, and, it worked out for us.
DeLoach totaled 42 tackles, 35 assists, 16 tackles for loss, 7 sacks, and 3 forced fumbles. He's also smart, really smart.
He's on another level of smart. When you say a smart kid, he's on another level of smart, yeah.
I take it very seriously in the classroom and both on the field.
A WJBF Scholar Athlete Award winner and drawing interest from schools like MIT and Georgia Tech.
And he processes information differently than we do.
What's more satisfying, acing a test or sacking a quarterback?
Sacking a quarterback for sure. No question about that.
He's also a standout wrestler, but that means switching his persona using his cowboy hat. And he has big plans when he's done throwing people around the mat and sacking quarterbacks.
Engineering, for sure. That's my goal. It's a job that a lot of people in my family have done, and I want to kind of carry on that legacy.
He's already left quite the legacy at ARC.
Colton Willis, defensive lineman, Lincoln County High School.
Colton Willis has Lincoln County football in his blood, which comes as no surprise given his family's NFL pedigree.
My uncle actually played in the NFL. He taught me a couple things too. How to pass rush, how to be physical. So really, I took after his game.
His uncle is Jarius Wynn, who played defensive end at Lincoln County, then with the Georgia Bulldogs, before going on to win a Super Bowl in 2011 with the Green Bay Packers.
He talked to me a lot. He mentored me. tells me what's good, what's bad, what not to do, what to do. You know, it's good to have him on my side.
Willis not only has the talent, but he puts his team first, just as head coach Lee Homskis.
He was a preseason All-State linebacker. Played linebacker last year, and I asked him to move to defensive end, which is not as glamorous a position.
Willis took it in stride, leading the defense with 65 tackles, 6.5 tackles for loss, 5.5 sacks, and 3 fumble recoveries as the Red Devils rolled to the quarterfinals in the state playoffs.
Build your program around folks like Colton Willis.
Playing under the Friday night lights at Buddy Buford Field comes with certain pressure, but Willis is up to the task.
It's kind of nervous sometimes in big games, playoff games, kind of nervous. But you know, just practice, do what you do.
He lets his play do the talking, but when number 12 does speak,
when he speaks, his teammates listen. He doesn't speak a lot, but when he stands up and says, hey, this is what ought to be done, or this is what we need to do, the players around him listen, they respect him.
Jordan Stringer, linebacker, Lucy C. Laney High School.
I firmly believe that he is one of the greatest players to play here within the last 5 to 10 years.
For the past 4 years on Friday nights, it wasn't uncommon to hear the name Jordan Stringer throughout downtown Augusta after he made big play after big play for Lucy C. Laney.
I feel like I left my mark here. I feel like that people are going to remember Jordan Stringer at Lucy C. Laney High School.
As a Wildcat, Jordan finished his career with 485 tackles, 5 interceptions, 6 forced fumbles, and 4 fumble recoveries, and was rated the 32nd best inside linebacker in the country by ESPN.
You don't get a kid like Jordan Stringer, every day. Or, when you talk about a linebacker who's a smart kid, they can affect the game in ways that not a lot of players can.
Jordan wore many hats for the Wildcats, scoring 20 touchdowns as a running back too. His leadership guided Laney to the 2A state playoffs for the first time in 4 seasons.
This year, it was just more about me being a leader on the field. Like, I had some big hits this year, a lot of big hits, but wherever they needed me on the field, I was there. Whether it was playing Wildcat quarterback, running back, outside linebacker, strong safety, inside linebacker, I was there.
Jordan earned a lot of respect over the years with his play, and others took notice, which is why he's headed to play football for the Troy Trojans next year.
So like the Laney environment, because we're family here, it's a culture thing here, so at Troy it's TKG, so Troy kind of guy, so I felt like I was a Troy kind of guy, so that's why I went there.
Zach Blackwell, linebacker, Augusta Christian.
If you line up across from Zach Blackwell, he wants one thing going through your mind.
I want him thinking, oh man, this guy's about to hurt me. That's the bottom line. That's what I want him thinking.
Better known for his 1,600 rushing yards and 21 touchdowns on offense, Zach makes our team at linebacker, where he racked up 58 total tackles, 15.5 for loss, 2 sacks, 1 interception, 1 forced fumble, and a partridge in a pear tree.
He will compete no matter who's out there. He's going to compete. He wants to win no matter what. We did relay races in the summer. He wants to win those. When we lift in the weight room, he wants to win those. He's going to compete. His competitive character sets him apart from everyone else.
Zach is a great player. He's a dog. He's just as willing to do it as offense as the defense. He's willing to step up and do whatever it takes for us to be successful as a team. Zach Blackwell is really special. The way that he carries himself and the way that he plays the game is just amazing.
It's a blessing, honestly. First, I just want to thank God for everything he's given me. And, he didn't have to wake me up this morning, but he did. And, it was for a purpose. That's the mindset each and every day.
And Zach will be back in 2021 with one thing on his mind.
State championship ring. On top of everything else, undefeated season, state championship ring. And just prove to this town, prove to the city, we're Augusta's team.
Lee, linebacker, Westside High School.
Now, depending on who you ask is the real deal in and around Class 2, some will possibly tell you that the West Side is the best side.
When we get on the field, we do talk trash, we be like, oh, you ain't getting that far. Don't need to come over here, you feel me?
Demarion Lee, the heartbeat to the Patriots defense, racked up more than 100 tackles, 9 tackles for losses, and 4 sacks in his senior season.
And knowing that you made the play, and then looking in the crowd, and I'm like, oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And Demarion's not the shy type. He'll let you know after he makes a tackle.
Last year, we finally, put a name out because our defense, it was like that.
Helping lead Westside to their first winning season since 2007 and their first playoff appearance in 6 seasons.
And I feel like if everyone can push to their fullest, they can make Westside name come out the city.
Cortavious Catchings, linebacker, Evans High School.
Ask about Cortavious Catchings and 2 words come to mind.
Hard hitter, absolute hard hitter.
67 solo tackles, 26 assists, 5 sacks, and 1 interception.
He just that dude all the time. He just walk with that swagger, and I like him a lot.
He's got a bravado when he gets on the field, and that's a good thing.
One drill, we was doing perimeter drill, and I was coming around the side, and he tried to blindside me, but he didn't know that I seen him. So I lowered my shoulder, and I just ran straight through him.
He cocky. He get the showing off because he think he fast, but I'm fast too.
I just ran straight through him.
He keep holding it over my head, and I'm telling him I let him do it. I let him do it. You ain't, I let you do
it. One thing is for sure about Cortavious.
Funny. A little bit of character.
Who would you say you model your game after and why?
Ray Lewis, because he a man. So I feel like I hit hard like him. I can move like him.
Can you do the pregame dance like he does?
Oh, yes, sir.
Can I see it?
In there. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Justin Myers, defensive back, Washington Wilkes High School.
It's rare to see a program that was 1 win above 500 take a leap the following year like Washington Wilkes with a freshly out of retirement head coach in Sid Fritz as the Tigers finished 10-2, 1 game shy of the 1A public state title game.
We had a good season, came out strong. We had, last year, we're talking about how we're gonna have a good season and do better.
Head coaching is like riding a bike. If you've done it, you just jump back on the seat and ride again.
Dalen Cobb and Justin Myers have been in their bag all year in the same backfield, finishing with more than 2,000 all-purpose yards combined.
I just feel like we the best on the field at that time.
It was just hard work. Coming in during the summer, with COVID going on, everybody focused and working.
Justin made plays on both sides of the ball. At free safety, he tallied 42 tackles, 15 assists, 1 fumble recovery in 8 games.
You feel good with the crowd roaring. It just makes you want to go again and again.
And there's no question that he'd rather tackle than eat.
He's now going to make a name for himself at Georgia Southern.
You ask anybody that we've played, they always want to ask about 9, number 9. Coach, have you ever had a better safety? And I can truthfully say he's the best free safety we've ever had.
I just go hard every game, like in my lab.
Caleb Hutchinson, defensive back, Westside High School.
With 83 solo tackles in his junior season, defensive back Caleb Hutchinson took a huge leap in 2020, being one of the best DBs in the CSRA. But let him say it, he knows he's the very best.
Absolutely. I have what it takes. I don't think any other DB can do what I do.
He also tallied 3 forced fumbles and 6 interceptions and 1 defensive touchdown. For him, his reaction to the ball is instantaneous.
Before the play, I try to predict what they're gonna do, and I just try to be in the right spot at the right time so I could make a play.
Off the field, he's watching tape and trying to get better while imitating his favorite player, Tyrann Mathieu.
I had to go with Tyrann Mathieu because he a hard hitter, hard worker. He knows where to be at the right times. He a ball hawk.
And if he needed any added motivation, he just looks over at his older brother, CJ, who's also in the secondary.
If CJ made a play, you knew KB was trying to come to make the play. Now, I will say they bragged on each other, and they congratulated each other. They were hyped for each other, and that's what brothers do.
It's our second year playing together. You know, we fuel each other every day, working out at home. We were all on the same page, had good chemistry, all of that. It's just, they played this role in making our defense great.
Bryce Washington, defensive back, Williston Elko High School.
Bryce Washington had a knack for disruption in the Blue Devils secondary this year, with 6 interceptions and 4 pass breakups.
On the field, he's a dynamic player. This year we knew going into the season he was going to have a big year for us in order for us to be successful, and that's what he did.
I'm a different person on the field. It's different.
Bryce also scored 3 touchdowns on offense, and he was named the co-defensive back in 1A Region 3.
I was just thinking, I don't think he came off the field, even on special teams. He was one of those guys that was always on the field. We knew in order for us to be successful, he had to be on the field, and he had to do a good job playing his part and playing his role.
At Williston Elko, the hard work starts in the off-season by clocking in hours inside the power plant.
He's one of those guys that kind of just leads by example, doing the right thing and working hard in the classroom and on the football field and the weight room.
Spent a lot of time before the season, over the summers, right now, getting ready for the next season. It helps with a lot of stuff, speed, in-game, motivate me to work harder. I want to be there next. I want to be signing next.
Dalen Cobb, athlete, Washington Wilkes High School.
I feel like when I got the ball, I got to make a play, so.
I think what we saw this year is just the tip of the iceberg.
Dalen Cobb proved time and time again that he can pick apart a defense either with his legs or with his arm.
He's got a big-time arm. You know, we thought he'd be definitely a threat back there pulling it down and running, but then once he started throwing the ball around and the velocity he has, we knew we had something special.
As a first-year starter at quarterback, he finished with 25 touchdowns, almost 600 rushing yards, and more than 1,200 through the air.
I don't think I was playing to my full potential. So, I mean, I had to.
Leading the Tigers to a 10-win season for the first time since 2014.
You know, for a first-year starter at quarterback, again, his personality, his temperament, you know, nothing gets too high, nothing gets too low. He just goes back and does his job.
At first, it was like hard, but I got used to it, so it got easier as we went.
Now going into his senior season, he's looking to take the next step in his game.
Really do think now that he's got the opportunity and the potential to play quarterback at the next level.
Get bigger, faster, and to keep working on my game.
Now it's time for a very special award as we honor Thompson native and NFL Hall of Famer Ray Guy with the Punter of the Year award. Established in 2000 and named for NFL Hall of Fame punter Ray Guy, the Ray Guy Award is presented annually by the Augusta Sports Council to honor the nation's best collegiate punter. After a phenomenal career at the University of Southern Mississippi, Ray Guy was the first punter ever to be selected in the first round of the NFL Draft. Ray's punting style paved the way for punters' impact today in flipping field position, pinning their opponents inside the 20-yard line, punting the football with tremendous hang time, and contributing to their team's overall success. Here to introduce the Ray Guy High School Punter of the Year Award and Scholarship is the Ray Guy Collegiate Punter of the Year, Presley Harvin from Georgia Tech.
And the winner of the Augusta Sports Council Ray Guy High School Punter of the Year Award is Eric Harris from Hepzibah High School. Congrats, Eric.
Eric Harris Jr., punter, Hepzibah High School.
Ray Guy Award winner Eric Harris Jr. can hit bombs.
You know, it was fun for me, so when something's fun, you just do it naturally, so.
Dynamic athlete,
good kid to have on the field at all times.
There weren't many plays Harris wasn't on the field for the Hephzibah Rebels, and it's easy to see why. He averaged 45 yards per punt, pinned 6 of 17 punts inside the 20. Also had more than 600 yards and 6 touchdowns as a receiver. As a safety, 27 tackles, an interception, a defensive touchdown, and don't kick it his way either, as first-year head coach Daniel Dorsey learned right away.
It had to be the first game of the season. Kickoff return, he took it 95 yards to the house, against Evans. And then he goes up and catches the ball on 2 or 3 people, and then he punts it, he flips the entire field. I think he punted it like 55 yards or something. So like the first game of the season, I knew at that point, I was like, he's special.
Since he does it all, we had to ask, what does he like more, flushing a punt or catching a touchdown?
That's a good question, because when I punt a good punt and I see that the team's happy, it makes me happy. But catching a touchdown also makes me even happy. So I had to say the touchdown.
With 4.5 speed, you have to wonder how often Harris would beg his coaches to call a fake punt.
A lot, almost every time, because I can read it, but I just have to listen to the coaches sometimes.
Having him there, being the threat that he was on the field with the ball in his hands, I guess it kept people a little bit honest on special teams.
Hephzibah's Eric Harris Jr., the 2021 Ray Guy High School Punter of the Year. This year's College Football Kicking Hall of Fame inductee is Horace Albert Big Horse Gillum. Gillum was an American football punter in the NFL. He played for the Cleveland Browns between 1947 and 1956. He grew up in Massillon, Ohio, where his football career began. He played high school football for the Massillon Tigers under legendary head coach Paul Brown, who would later coach him in college and professionally. In 1941, Gillum followed Coach Brown to Ohio State University. After his freshman season, he left to enlist in the military. The next 3 years were spent defending the United States in World War II. He survived the Battle of the Bulge and was awarded 3 Bronze Stars. After discharge, Gillum enrolled in 1946 at the University of Nevada. A year later, in 1947, he signed with the Cleveland Browns and was again reunited with Coach Brown. During his 10-year NFL career, Gillum won 2 NFL punting titles, finishing his career as the second-best punter in NFL history with a 43.8-yard average. To this day, punters in American football still use the increased distance for alignment, pioneered by Horace Gillum, who is this year's College Football Kicking Hall of Fame inductee.
Congrats to all of those great players for making it on the All-CSRA awards team. Coming up next, we'll take a look at the guys who scored all the points as we check in with the offensive team. Welcome back to the WJBF Sports Augusta Sports Council All-CSRA Awards Show. Time now to reveal our All-CSRA offensive team.
Brooks Pangle, quarterback, Greenbrier High School.
It's the air raid offense, and Brooks Pangle is airing it out.
Like last year, I started to play varsity first, and the game was all so fast, and I really didn't know what I was doing. And this year, I finally got some experience and got settled in to where I could see the field really well.
Pangle threw for nearly 3,000 yards, averaging 260 per game, connecting for 31 touchdowns. All those were tops in Class 5A, and he shattered every Greenbrier passing record.
Brooks proved to be someone that could distribute the ball, and he could put it to where it needed to get to, and we just let our players play.
Lighting up the scoreboard, he was named First Team All-State in 5A and the Region 8 Offensive Player of the Year. His top target, Braden Collette, was third in the state in receiving yards.
He's a great guy. He's a leader, and he's going to do big things in the future. I mean, probably one of my best friends on the field. I can always count on him to make the play and give the ball to me where I need it.
Pangle even completes passes when his teammates are airing out his dirty laundry during interviews.
We'd be in the locker room before practice, and he'd be on the phone with his girlfriend. Or before a game, he'd be out in a car, just kind of, he's a big simp. I always got on to him about it.
and you can bet he plans on airing it out even more next season.
There are a lot of unknowns going into the season, but I think, and unknowns about us, and I think we answered a lot of questions about the direction we're heading as a program.
Joe Friend-Star Graham, running back, Evans High School.
Evans High School's motto is, "There's a star in every night." But this year, none shone brighter than Joe Friend-Star Graham.
Great kid. Great kid. You know, just a kid that without question does his work, you know, tries to maintain the GPA, all the little things that are important in getting to that 1%.
More than 1,200 total yards and 21 touchdowns, 1,139 of those coming on the ground with 18 scores, leading Evans to a 5th straight trip to the state playoffs. Joe Friend-Star Graham.
I describe myself as like an Alvin Kamara type of running back. You know, can go out and catch the ball too and run and be explosive still.
I think the biggest thing behind Joe is his work ethic off the field. He put a lot of time in from his freshman year to his senior year, just trying to get better at all the little things that make you a good football player.
When I seen how he moved on the field, how he was hungry, I was hungry, we both had that dog mentality. I knew that was my brother for life then.
I want them to think that I'm finna score because that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do at the end of the day.
This fall, Joe Friend-Star will become an Army Black Knight, but he will always be an Evans Knight.
I think that I can do anything, so I want to be a running back in heart.
How do you want to be remembered 10, 15 years from now when they talk about Joe Friend-Star Graham at Evans High School?
That I was the most elusive back that they ever seen.
Malik Walker, running back, Washington County High School.
Malik Walker has speed, talent, and big playability that you might say is out of this world.
Literally can take on 2 steps, he can be at full speed.
When I do take that first step and nobody touch me, it's over.
He's got plenty of stats, but the most impressive?
And he's like 2 years into football, and he is still brand new at this, so everything's brand new with him. But in terms of a single season, he's had arguably as solid of a one-man single season as anybody we've ever had.
And Walker with a nice move at the 45 creates more running room, and he is still on his feet. Malik Walker, sideline, touchdown. Wow.
As the Golden Hawks super back, he rushed for 2,272 yards, averaging 14 yards per carry, 33 touchdowns, 4 more touchdowns on kick returns, punt returns, and receiving. In all, 3,483 all-purpose yards.
He forced us to be better coaches because of the offensive style we run. As the season went on, I mean, we would see defenses we'd never even thought about planning for, people trying to take him away. So it forced us to be creative to find different ways to get him the football and still do the same things. And he just had just a meteoric season.
Walker will have the first down, and Walker will have the touchdown. He has been different.
He says his speed comes from racing his brothers as a kid. And as he got older, well, racing anyone, including a former All-CSRA Player of the Year.
Got to high school, and one of our fastest running backs that we ever had, named Daquan, and I had raced him and I had beat him. And I was like, yeah, I might be one of the fastest.
After just 2 years in football, now he'll take his speed down to Savannah State.
Just ecstatic for how football has really come through for him. You tell me if you love the process, sooner or later the process will love you back. And this is one of those examples of the process loving him back.
When he grows up, he wants to be a fireman. And when his team gets the call, you can bet it won't take him long to get there.
Jontavius Curry, running back, Academy of Richmond County.
It was just exciting. We didn't really know what we had, to be honest. And, he had a few runs in practice, and, he was kind of finding his way, figuring out how the plays worked and that kind of thing. And the Vidalia game, he just really showed that he could be electric.
Jontavius Curry is only a sophomore, but his injuries threatened to derail ARC's best season in more than 40 years, Curry stepped in to deliver game-breaking plays.
Really feel great to me because it's a great opportunity, and I want to thank the coach for giving me this opportunity because I skipped that opportunity last year, so I'm glad they gave me an opportunity to come back and let me show my true potential this year.
Once he figured things out, Curry was explosive. On less than 100 carries, he ran for 986 yards,
Jontavius Curry
averaging more than 10 yards per carry, racking up 11 total touchdowns.
When I touch the ball and just get an open field, I get a good enjoy.
So he just started figuring it out, and then it was wild how much he could do once he figured out the way it worked.
The Musketeers won their first region title since 1976 and beat Thompson for the first time since 1998.
I say he's special. I mean, you know, everybody can talk about how fast somebody runs and this, that, and the other, but you know, when you see it, it's different, and he's definitely one of those guys.
And with ARC returning to their winning ways, Curry is ready to keep it that way the next 2 years.
I'm going to have to step up and be a voice for all the youth that's coming here.
Jacob Walker, wide receiver, Augusta Christian.
The name Walker means one thing in Georgia football.
Bob, he's running over people. Oh, you heard the Walker.
And while he's no relation, Jacob Walker is now living up to that last name.
Ever since freshman year, you know, I've been trying to make a big name for myself. It just means a lot, not to us, but to school. It's a really big honor.
Almost 1,900 all-purpose yards and 23 total touchdowns, including 43 catches for 771 yards and 9 scores, leading the Lions to a 9-3 record and 2 rounds deep in the state playoffs.
As a running back, in today's game, you know, it's all about doing everything. Being able to run the ball, catch out the backfield, run routes.
We talk about a couple different characteristics in our players, things we want. One of them is adaptability, and that's Jacob. We just knew we had to get the ball in his hands some way, somehow.
On the field, you ain't catching him. Point blank period, you're not gonna catch him. You know, I beat him in a race one time. He'll deny it. Yeah, I see it. He'll deny it. Words can't describe Jacob Walker. You know, on and off the field, he's a great guy, great Christian guy. You know, he's one of those guys, if you're going through something, you know, he's the guy you want to go to.
Walker leaves Augusta Christian as one of the best to ever wear the Lion uniform.
I want AC just to remember me as a legend, in honesty. Someone who did it off the field just as much as he did on the field. I'm a leader. I'm very passionate about the game.
Braden Collette, wide receiver, Greenbrier High School.
Hoping to stop that Greenbrier air raid offense? Good luck.
That wasn't my worry because I know when you're walking out. So I was just kind of going in there with the confidence that I'm the guy on the field and they're trying to stop me, but they're not.
Braden Collette has the typical swagger you expect from a top wideout. The numbers back it up. Third in the state this season with 21 touchdown catches, tied for the 6th most all-time in Georgia. He led Class 5A in yards, catches, and touchdowns.
You know, he made plays that, you know, our quarterback just had to put it in his general area, and he would go up and get it.
That relationship with quarterback Brooks Pengel paved the way for nearly 1,300 yards through the air.
You got to have a good chemistry with your quarterback or stuff's not going to work.
He sets the standard for our receivers. You know, they all look to him. No matter what he's doing, they're going to follow in his direction.
And if the ball didn't come his direction, you can bet 6 went back to the huddle to tell 7 he was open.
I have, yes, before. I have against Appalachia. Maybe he missed me twice and kind of gave me an earful about it. He just shook me off and just said, shut up. So.
Due to the chaos that was 2020, some college coaches may have missed out as well.
You know, I definitely think he was overlooked as a receiver.
Instead, he's going to play baseball at Georgia Southern, but you have to believe he may get a call from the football staff.
Teron Brabham, offensive line, Allendale Fairfax High School.
Teron Brabham is a man of his word, built by the city of Allendale with strong character. I promise you, Teron Brabham is a nice guy, but when he steps in between the lines, he takes on a different persona.
You know, I'm nice off the field,
right? I get on the field doing you across from me. I got to do you however I got to do you. And you going to let me do you however I want to do you, you know?
And it's not his fault. Being physical is all he knows.
I've been a lineman since I've been little. You know, I've always been big, so coaches would never put me anywhere else. And I can't really catch too well, so yeah, I've been a lineman since I can remember.
In 7 games his senior season, the Tigers managed to score 25 touchdowns, and Teron was a huge reason why.
Our offense, in my opinion, was one of the most dangerous offenses down here.
I think the main thing he stepped up is he was able to provide us with some one-on-one blocks. He could do things solo and free up some of the other guys, and it ultimately came down to determination.
Like I said, he's a nice guy. When he's not wreaking havoc on defenses, he's enjoying creating stories and imagery with his words by writing poems.
And a lot of people are like, oh, Teron, your poems are so good, you know, but you know, everything comes from the heart.
How good is he?
Nothing brings a black boy more joy than knowing something is his. Black boys have a lease on life. Living is like learning to drive. You have to drive for those around you. I'm possessive because I'm scared to lose what's mine, because black boy joy is available for a limited amount of time.
Well, I think that deserves a few snaps, right?
Joseph DeLauder, offensive line, North Augusta High School.
I was always a lot bigger, especially in rec. They always made like biggest kids go play running back. That was me.
North Augusta's Joe DeLauder may have started his football career as a running back, but eventually the 6'1", 245-pounder would be in charge of paving the way for running backs and protecting the quarterback as an all-state left tackle. And he's fine knowing that sometimes the blockers get overlooked.
Well, it always felt great when you see the running back cut right behind your butt. You know, you pretty much made the play. Every lineman knew you made the play, so you take a lot of pride in that. But everybody in the crowd, so they just complimented the running back.
He wants to go to Clemson to be an engineer, but the chance to play college football was there too, as scouts came calling to head coach Jim Bob Bryant.
He's a great high school football player, and he's an even better kid. You know, he was the brains of the bunch on the offensive line. Him and Grant. You know, our center, they played there. Joe's been starting there for 3 years. He was All-State the last 2 years. You know, did a great job of leading a young group of offensive linemen.
North Augusta football is in his blood, as he and his older brother Ben are well aware, thanks to their dad, who isn't afraid to remind them about his Yellow Jacket legacy.
He won his junior year in 1989. They went to state, and me and Ben could never pull it off, but it's fine because I know I'm better than both of them.
And now he's got an All-CSRA ring to prove it.
Matthew Cardello, offensive line, Lakeside High School.
A fence surrounds Panther Stadium, and a wall stands in the middle of it. 6'3", 275-pound lineman Matthew Cardello.
Hands down, in the years I've been at Lakeside, or even coaching, probably one of the top players I've ever been involved with.
A 4-year starter, Matthew played on both sides of the line this season, grading out at 90% on the offensive side. He paved the way for a young Panthers team to rush for nearly 1,300 yards this season.
Working as hard as I have the last 4 years, you know, it's good to see that all the hard work I've done has actually gotten into something and being exposed for how good I've been working.
He's like one of these kids when the lights come on Friday nights, he just turns into a different guy. If you saw him walking down the hallway, he almost doesn't even want to look at you. But on the field on Friday nights, it's just, they can't block him.
Even more impressively, he leaves Lakeside with a 3.9 GPA and some large shoes to fill, literally.
We knew every single Friday night that we could depend on number 72.
Hardworking, adamant, just someone who every play does what needs to be done.
We knew he was always going to give everything on Friday nights, no matter what.
Daiwan Kendrick, offensive line, Thompson High School.
The Thompson Bulldogs were one of the most efficient teams on offense this year in Class 3A, finishing 9-3, totaling almost 5,000 all-purpose yards with 50 touchdowns. And most of their success happened because of Dejuan Kendrick.
We call him Big John. His name is Dejuan. The biggest thing about him is he's always focused on the task at hand. He's been a really big part, literally, of everything that we've been able to accomplish on offense.
Standing at 6'4", 285 pounds at right tackle, Dejuan graded out at 88% this year.
I like, on the line, I like pancaking people and doing what I need to do. And blocking for my quarterback.
Him grading out 88% is not a big surprise for me because I know the talent level that he has and his abilities.
Giving his quarterback extra time in the pocket was something he specialized in because Tate Martin's success translated to more than 2,000 all-purpose yards and 18 touchdowns.
When I see Tate working hard, it makes me want to work hard, basically. So that's like kind of out of it. So.
Because once he starts pancaking people, he gets up and he gets this little trot going, and then you can kind of look at him and he'll be shaking his head, and it's time to go then.
James Schlegel, all-purpose, Aquinas High School.
This is the best football community in the CSRA, no questions asked. They love football here so much. I mean, you got people who haven't been to school here or sent kids here for 50 years still coming to every single home game religiously, keeping up with it. I mean, being able to play with for these fans in this environment, it's like nowhere else in this area, unquestionably.
James Schlegel arrived at Aquinas halfway through his sophomore year, and he spent the last 2 seasons as the Irish' do-it-all, dual-threat quarterback.
One of the most dedicated players I've ever had. Never missed a workout, 3-sport athlete.
That athleticism shined under the Friday night lights, with more than 500 yards passing and more than 1,400 yards rushing, with 17 total touchdowns.
I mean, I love running the ball, I love throwing the ball, I like having the ball in my hands.
At the end of the day, it's not easy playing quarterback for me. I'm in your grill a lot. He handled it really well and just can't say enough about what he did for us the 2 years he was here.
His physical style reminds his coach of another dual-threat quarterback.
He's like a high school Tim Tebow, I guess. He'd run you over. Offensive line did a great job for him. We had good running backs, good receivers, but there was a lot of times when there was zero hole and he made it happen. He'd just run you over.
He's headed to play baseball at East Tennessee State University, but Aquinas will always hold a special place in his heart.
I mean, I just want to let it be known that if you're a dude looking for a place to play and to really be a part of a winning environment, Aquinas is the place to be, no questions asked.
Aquavius Hunter, kick returner, Jefferson County High School.
If you look up the word electric in the dictionary, you will see a picture of Aquavius Hunter next to the word because he makes shocking play week after week at Warrior Field.
I felt like I could take over. That's how I felt.
At quarterback this year, Hunter led his team to the 2A state semifinals and had over 800 rushing yards and a total of 18 touchdowns. That's including offense, defense, and special teams.
It first started off at practice. Everybody came out there with the work ethic. Everybody wanted it really bad, so we put in that time and effort and just went out there and succeeded.
Well, I think the biggest thing about Aquavius, who we nicknamed Tater Bread, that's what everybody knows him as, is Tater Bread, and there's a long story behind that. But Tater Bread, I think the best way to describe him is dynamic. Got up here, and every time he's on the field, he's always got that chance to score, to go the distance at any time.
Hold on 1 second there, Coach. With a nickname like that, we need some type of background on the legend of Tater Bread.
Well, for years, we knew when we got him, I didn't even know his name. I just knew that it was, there's Tater Bread. Now, okay, this is going to last a long time because I need to figure out, why they call him Tater Bread. And the story that I get told is as a young kid, he liked to eat tater bread, and it just stuck with him. And he's been Tater Bread since he was a little kid. It has stuck with him through high school. But I will say this, I don't think I've ever seen him eat tater bread, so I don't know why that sticks with him or not.
He's probably sick of eating it. Just keep calling him that.
Tater Bread's speed is what clearly sets him apart. The way he shifts gears and can stop on a dime.
I took it so serious and it just, my feet do stuff that my mind can't go to.
My favorite story about Aquavius is You know, he told me one time, he said, Coach, you know, my feet do things my brain don't tell them to. And, you know, I try to sit there and figure that out for a minute, then I just figured out that he just does.
His motto is tough times don't last, but tough people do, which is why he'll be playing at South Carolina State next fall.
You know, he's given nothing. Everything he's ever gotten, he's worked his tail off for.
I mean, I'm proud because, like, I came from a struggle. Nobody really pushed me, so somebody had to do it. So
now, we couldn't get Aquavius any tater bread, but we got him something just as sweet.
It's perfect. It's my first ring.
Sean Metcalf, kicker, Westside High School.
From 41 yards, this field goal somehow looked pretty easy for Sean Metcalf. And by the way, this was his first field goal attempt in his high school career. For him, it's basically pretty natural. See, Sean's dad is from Great Britain, so he obviously grew up playing the English version of football. But as a sophomore, he dropped the soccer ball and picked up the pigskin.
I was very happy with the kick too, which was nice.
Luckily for Sean, Westside was in need for a special team specialist, and he made his first start 4 games into the season.
The head coach ran me through everything, and once he said I could play, I was all in. I wanted to just get out there, play as many sports, do as much as I can.
He went 5 for 5 on field goal attempts with 11 of 12 made extra points, and his kickoffs averaged within the 5-yard line 90% of the time.
You gotta stay clear-headed. If you get too high, then you just don't think about the kicking motion.
As a rising junior, Sean has barely tapped in to his potential.
What an outstanding collection of offensive players. Congratulations to all of them. When we come back, we'll hand out some very special awards, including our Play of the Year, the Players of the Year, the Coach of the Year. Welcome back to the WJBF Sports Augusta Sports Council All-CSRA Award Show. Now it's time to hand out some hardware, starting with our Powerade Play of the Year.
Coca-Cola and Powerade are honored to be a part of high school sports in the CSRA. Each year we see some amazing plays, and this year was no different. We saw some of the most unbelievable hits, catches, touchdowns, field goals, and plays. Picking just one is nearly impossible, but we did. Let's see the Powerade Play of the Year from Tay Martin with Thompson High School.
You won the Powerade Play of the Year. Do you know off the top of your head what that was?
If I had to guess, it would be ARC coming out the third quarter.
And it's Martin. 2 touchdowns in the first, and he's got plenty of running room to start the second half across midfield. Martin in a foot race down the sidelines. Tay Martin. 3rd touchdown of the night. Just like that, Thompson back in it.
First play of the second half of scrimmage.
It is the privilege of the Augusta Sports Council to present a special scholarship to a deserving athlete on the All-CSRA offensive team. The offensive team Scholar of the Year is senior James Slagle from Aquinas High School.
Cadence Bank is honored to present a special scholarship to a deserving member of the defensive team. The Defensive Team Scholar of the Year is senior Reese Deloach from the Academy of Richmond County.
Georgia Campus Services in Jostens is proud to honor these tremendous high school student athletes, and we congratulate you on your accomplishments. The WJBF Sports Augusta Sports Council Offensive Player of the Year is Braden Collette from Greenbrier High School. Congratulations.
McDonald's takes great pride in being part of high school football here in the CSRA, and we wish you continued success in life. The WJBF Sports Augusta Sports Council co-defensive players of the year are Bo Shugarts from Greenbrier High School and Elijah Davis from Wagoner Sally High School.
Great football coaches are men of great character. They take pride in seeing their players succeed on the field. They shine the spotlight on their players and not on themselves. This year's winner of the WJBF Sports Augusta Sports Council Coach of the Year Award exemplifies that. The winner is Lyle Burns from the ARC, the Academy of Richmond County.
What do you got?
buddy.
Lyle Burns, our All-CSRA Coach of the Year.
Thank y'all so much. This is very nice. It's a good surprise. You even had them in on it, didn't you?
You got the whole team in on it.
Thank you so much. It's a great honor.
WJBF Sports and the Augusta Sports Council are proud to honor these high school football stars.
And this year, Brendan, the Player of the Year will also receive a scholarship award from the Augusta Sports Council.
The WJBF Sports Augusta Sports Council Player of the Year is Malik Walker from Washington County High School.
Not only are you All-CSRA, you are the All-CSRA Player of the Year, my friend.
Thank you.
All right, how's it feel? Not only All-CSRA, but you were the man 2 of the last 3 years, boys from Waco, taking the big trophy home.
I feel wonderful.
It's a testament to his teammates. You know, a lot of guys blocking, a lot of guys on the other side of the ball, put us in position. Great honor.
Go Hawks! Brendan, what a great group. We just want to say congrats to all of our award winners and good luck in the future.
That's right. We also want to thank our sponsors who helped make tonight possible with the scholarships and the awards. If you want to see anything that you saw tonight, you can head on over to the sports page at WJBF.com. For our friend John Hart, my man Colin Cody, I'm Brendan Robertson. We hope to see you all in person at next year's awards show. Good night.